Rakak. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth, and double salutations to all you Akim out there laboring, the house of David, the elect, that's pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom to you brothers and shalom to the elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit, the Rakak. This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 5, and it reads, "Thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, an evil and only evil, behold, is come. An end is come, the end is come, it watcheth for thee, behold, it is come." Verse 7, "The morning is come unto thee, O thou that dwellest in the land. The time is come, the day of trouble is near, and not the sounding again of the mountains." The end is near, right? Why, quote unquote, average Americans are preparing for society's collapse, all right? There's a lot of videos, especially dealing with these Edomites, that are preparing for the complete collapse of America's society, all right? Which we're going to come back to this article here. But this is from naturalnews.com. The headline, it reads, it says, "Got clean water, cash, fuel, guns, and ammo? Here are the 20 top necessities that are hard to find during natural disasters," right? So there's a lot of people preparing for basically the end of this world. Okay, the end of Babylon the Great, which is America. People are preparing for America's societal collapse, right? This is 2 Ezra 9 in verse 5. It says, "For like all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest." All right, people clearly see that now, especially the way things are going on in the earth. All right, this Trump administration, the tariffs, all right, the beginnings of war, all right, the civil unrest, all right, the distrust within the government, all of that. All right, the end is clearly has been made manifest. Verse 6, it says, "Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved, and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed," right? Verse 8, it says, "Shall be preserved from the said perils." All right, the perils go into what? The destruction, right? Let's pull that. This is the definition of perils. It says imminent danger, exposure to the risk of harm or loss, something that endangers or involves risk. Danger, risk, hazard, jeopardy, exposure of person or property to injury, loss, or destruction. These are the perils that are coming, right? Verse 9, 2 Ezra 9 and 9, it says, "Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments." And this is what's going to happen to 2/3. Those that have refused the hand of the Lord, that refuse to repent and to come back to their power. Those are the ones that's going to be in pitiful case, right? So let's get into the video here.
I don't really care what the trigger event is. It could be a pandemic, could be the grid goes down, an asteroid could hit.
This is a doomsday prepper showing me one of his secret locations made to survive society's collapse.
I don't care if Mother Teresa is out there with 3 orphans. We will not give food to anyone.
Prepping began in the 1950s, driven by fears of nuclear collapse, leading many Americans to build fallout shelters. And it's evolved over time, but since 2017, the number of preppers has doubled due to growing tensions in politics, economy, and environment. So I wanted to spend the day with the mastermind behind this survival community to understand, are preppers just radical, far-right conspiracy theorists? Is America and society headed for collapse, or is it just fear-mongering?
The biggest threat, it's artificial intelligence. This technology is going to kill most of mankind and might destroy the planet.
And if society collapses, how afraid should we be? All All I knew going in was the show Doomsday Preppers, and so that's honestly what I was expecting.
First rule of prepping, by the way, is don't tell anyone you're a prepper. Our location is confidential.
It's kind of like Fight Club in a way.
It's exactly that way.
So you're saying this is like the tallest log watchtower, you said?
Tallest log building, period, in the world.
In the world?
Do you want to strap up now?
Yeah, let's do it. Strap me up. So is this like rule number one is to always be strapped here?
Well, in a collapse, it absolutely is. If there's a marauder group, they're not just going to come blundering in and attack you. They're going to look at you. They're going to send out observers. They're going to spy on you. We want them to decide, no way in hell do we want to attack these guys.
So he showed me around the tower from the rooms to how it was built, and now brought me up to the top to see how they can see threats from miles away.
This deck is plastic lumber. It'll flex. Don't feel like you're going to fall.
So how many acres?
We have 26 acres.
26.
Here. Yeah. RV area. See a giant tank there? That's 1,000-gallon propane tank. You don't normally see them that big. And that puppy is always topped off because that's our propane generator. Marauder group could come through here, so we got a guard station over there pointing at that.
So as you'll see later on, from their weapons to their food, it was clearly well thought out. But I was still curious, because what were they exactly prepping for?
Wow, you went to Harvard.
Yeah, Harvard. I saw your video
my.
on Harvard. I'm an analyst. I was in the intelligence field as in the Air Force. And so I've studied threats, and that's why I'm a prepper. No one can study CRISPR and biotechnology or artificial intelligence and come to any conclusion except that this technology is going to kill most of mankind and might destroy the planet. It will eventually. It's inevitable.
So what do you think is the most likely outcome?
We call it a trigger event. I don't really care what the trigger event is. It could be a pandemic, could be the grid goes down, an asteroid could hit, throw up, block out the clouds. And the biggest threat, it's artificial intelligence. The threat of artificial intelligence is not bad computers and bad robots. The threat of artificial intelligence is bad people. What if you're some religious fanatic and think that or you're a biologist who thinks that there's too many people? I'm going to design a virus or design a nanotechnology disaster to kill off almost all the people. And now I've saved the planet.
Interesting.
Real quick, because first of all, again, the real prepping is the fear of the Lord, the fear of Yahweh Shemel Washai. All right? This is Psalm 33, verse 16, and it reads, "There is no king saved by the multitude of an host. A mighty man is not delivered by much strength." You see? "A horse is a vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength." So again, your survival is essentially determined by the mercy of Yahweh Shemel Washai. Are you part of the ones that have been predestinated to survive these things that are going to come upon the earth? That's really what it's about. It doesn't matter how much, strength and might that you have, how much, food and water you're stocking up, how much guns and ammunition that you may have. It's all about the mercy of the Lord. All right. That's going to determine your survival. Verse 18, "Behold, the eye of the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Washai, is upon them that fear him." You see? That's the true doomsday prepping, if you will. All right. The real prepping is the fear of Yahweh Shemel Washai. "Behold, the eye of the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Washai, is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy." You see? And we hope in the Lord's mercy that we're, fitted to make it through these times of trouble, famine, sword, and death. As we know it pertaining to the scriptures, that the elect are going to be protected from these things. Psalm 33, verse 19, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. You see? This is what we're talking about. This all details the end of the world. But the Lord is going to preserve the elect from death and keep them alive in famine. Verse 20, it says, Our soul waited for the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Washai. He is our help and our shield. All right, the Yahweh Shemel Washai is going to be our help and shield, our protection. He's going to preserve us in this time of trouble. For our heart shall rejoice in him, because we have trusted in his holy name. And that's the key again, the name of Yahweh Shai. Okay? That's the key component to our survival, to our salvation. Let thy mercy, O Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, be upon us, according as we hope in thee. There you have it, right? This is Psalm 145. In verse 14, it says, the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, upholdeth all that fall, and raiseth up all those that be bowed down. The eyes of all wait upon thee, and thou givest them their meat in due season. Right. Thou openest thy hand and satisfy the desire of every living thing. The Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, is righteous in all his ways and holy in all his works. The Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, is nigh unto all them that call upon him. To all that call upon him in truth. You see that? So it's about those that call upon Yahweh Shem Shai in spirit and truth. Those are the spirits, the souls who the Lord is dealing with, man. Who he's going to be dealing with in that time. The elect, the remnant. He will fulfill the desire of them that fear him. Again, the fear of the Lord. He will fulfill the desire of them that fear him. Right. So he's going to make sure that the elect have the necessities, that they have sustainability, that they have food, water, and raiment and shelter. Right? He will fulfill the desire of them that fear him. He will also hear their cry and will save them. The Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, preserveth all that love him. All right, that word preserveth meaning to be kept alive. The Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, preserveth all them that love him, but all the wicked he will destroy. See, that's 2/3 in these Edomites and heathens. Right? Verse 21, my mouth shall speak the praise of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai. Let all flesh bless his holy name forever and ever. The point. Let's go back.
Intelligence is bad people. What if you're some religious fanatic and think that we need, or you're a biologist who thinks that there's too many people, I'm going to design a virus or design a nanotechnology disaster to kill off almost all the people, and now I've saved the planet.
Interesting.
Even crappy North Korea with their crappy little nuclear force can destroy the US electric grid whenever they want. And when our grid goes down, you lose municipal water systems, the economy won't function.
Everything.
Our military doesn't function either. So that's how you destroy the United States, is you do an attack on our electric grid, and when that happens, it's game over. Well, preppers know that, and that's why preppers follow first world prepping is don't tell them when you're a prepper, because they don't want people to know that, hey, I got a basement full of stuff. So 14 Ranch, we are the nation's, probably the world's largest recreational and survival community, and we have both. So when you come here in good times, you vacation, but in bad times, we turn into a survival community, and our members know that.
So it remains to be seen whether this whole world-ending thing is valid and whether you and I should be doing something to prepare. Because every day we hear all these different ways in which the world is going to go to shit. Whether that's something out of our control like a pandemic or a disaster to an all-out war.
You must stay at home.
Riots breaking out in city after city. Vladimir Putin is not joking. Это не блеф.
But what's interesting is that people with probably the most exclusive access to what's going on in the world have now started to prep. Over the last few years, tech billionaires are buying up luxury bunkers and military security to survive a societal collapse. Like Mark Zuckerberg literally just bought a $270 million private bunker in Hawaii.
Is there something that Mark Zuckerberg seems to know that we don't?
And it's not just him. People like Shaq, Kim Kardashian, Tom Cruise are installing private bunkers inside of their own homes, as well as tech investors like Peter Thiel are getting passports in other countries like New Zealand to build bunkers there.
Got some pretty big holes in Colorado, and there's a lot of bunkers in New Zealand too that are owned by billionaires.
And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video, because if billionaires and preppers are becoming the same, are we the crazy ones for not preparing for the worst?
Yeah, and your average American, doesn't have a clue what the fuck's going on. All right, especially concerning our people. All right, you so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans, and Hispanics. All right, while you have the celebrities and the super rich that are carnally preparing for these, doomsday scenarios, we, the hopeful elect, are preparing spiritually, right? This is Psalm 91 and verse 9, and it reads, it says, because thou hast made the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation. Therefore shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. So since we're preparing spiritually, all right, the Lord is going to cover us in the spirit, man. All right. He said that neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. The plagues is basically going into this destruction, the famine, the pestilence, okay, the wars. Okay, there's going to be a hedge over the Lord's elect. It says, verse 11, for he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. Right. So the angels of the Lord are going to protect us, man. All right. It tells us that in Daniel, the 12th chapter, right? That time of trouble. All right. This is Daniel 12 and 1. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there should be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation even to that same time. So what's coming on this world, what the Lord is about to bring upon this world is going to be unheard of. All right. It's going to be to a whole nother level. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, which is the elect, everyone that should be found written in the book. So again, dealing with the angel, all right, one of the Lord's top angels, Michael, all right, he's going to stand up for his people, for the elect. All right. You know, Michael, who was like the power, the point, one of the chief or the first archangel, who is described as the one who stands in time of conflict for the children of Israel. You see that? So when shit gets terrible on the earth, all right, the Lord is going to send down his top angel. But again, just referencing the point that the Lord is going to give his angels charge over thee. Let me get that in Psalm 34 as well. All right, that the elect are going to have divine protection in this terrible time. Psalm 34 and 7, it says, the angel of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, encamp round about them that fear him. You see, like I said again, the real prepping is the fear of the Lord. That's where it starts. The angel of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, encamp round about them that fear him and delivereth them. You see? So let's go back to Psalm 91. Psalm 91 and 11 again, it says, for he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against the stone. Verse 13, thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shall thou trample under feet, because the Lord is also going to raise up spiritual power during that time. Miracles are going to happen, as I talk about a lot, the divine intervention. All right, from the Lord, the angels coming down, things happening for the sake of the elect. Verse 14, because he hath set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. See, I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. You see, so the trouble is these scenarios that are getting ready to play out across the planet Earth. But the Lord is going to be there for his people, for his servants, for the elect. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. Boom. Right? Let's jump to this article real quick before we go back to the video. Right? Again, this is from naturalnews.com. Got clean water, cash, fuel, guns, and ammo. Here are the 20 top necessities that are hard to find during natural disasters, right? Let's just read a little bit. All right. Because now, you know, people are seeing that shit is definitely about to hit the fan. So everybody across the planet, in some sense, are preparing for these doomsday scenario disasters, you know? So it says electricity loss halts fuel pumps, water treatment. It says water treatment, communications, banking, transportation, leading to shortages and chaos. So this is what happens if they cut the if they cut the electricity, if they pull the plug, if there's some type of, blackout. It says gas stations, mobile networks, and digital payments become unusable. Food spoils without refrigeration, emergency services collapse, and essential supplies like fuel, batteries, and firearms become scarce. Short-term solutions, e.g. propane grills, are inefficient. Excuse me. It says gardening, livestock, food preservation, and off-grid power, e.g. solar, are vital. Hygiene, durable clothing, and repair skills also grow critical in prolonged outages. The Iberian outage exposed societal fragility. Extended disruptions would escalate breakdowns. Preparedness, stockpiling essentials, and mastering low-tech alternatives is key. Fuel, cash, water, medicine, food, batteries, and communication tools, e.g. radios, top the list. Self-reliance, seeds, chickens canning, and community cooperation replace modern conveniences. It says, and we'll read a little bit more. It says, modern society's dependence on electricity convenience leaves it vulnerable to collapse when power fails, as seen in recent blackouts across Spain, Portugal, and Andorra. Without electricity, critical systems, fuel pumps, water treatment, communications, banking, transportations grind to a halt, triggering shortages and chaos. And this is what's going to happen. All right. As we saw in Spain and Portugal the other day, these are all scenarios soon to come to America. All right. Just the societal breakdown, the chaos, shortages, famines. All right. No working hospitals, no banking system, no money. All right. No grocery stores to shop. All right. Everything that Esau has been showing in these doomsday shows, these movies that have came out. All right. Which is going to result in what? In much death. It says gas stations can't operate, leaving vehicles stranded. Mobile networks crash under welfare check calls. Digital payments become useless, forcing reliance on cash or barter. Water treatment plants fail, and without refrigeration, food spoils rapidly. Emergency systems, including alarms and medical service, are crippled. Last paragraph, it says short-term solutions like propane grills waste fuel, while long-term outages expose deeper vulnerabilities. Dwindling food, medicine, and fuel supplies, firearms, and batteries become scarce, and desperation grows. Long-term survival hinges on self-sufficiency, gardening, raising livestock, preserving food, and generating off-grid power via solar systems. Hygiene, durable clothing, and repair skills also grow critical. All right. So the Lord is going to have to be there in the midst of this chaos and destruction. Again, there's going to have to be divine intervention to take place. Right. I was just thinking about that 2 Ezra 15 real quick. All right, 2 Ezra 15 and verse 15 or verse 14, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there should be sedition among men, and invading one another. They should not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And that's what's going to happen in the midst of all the chaos. All right. In the disorder, when people are bugging out. All right. When they're panicking. Okay. When there's no laws. All right. It's going to be every man for himself. It's going to be a straight survival mode. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. There you have it.
Because take a look at this for an example.
I am preparing for a worldwide pandemic.
This video of a pandemic prepper was filmed 12 years ago. And if you look at the comments, literally everyone is calling her a Karen, but now she's probably laughing her ass off in her bunker. So I wanted to confront him on what he knows that we don't and see exactly what and how they were preparing for. Because as the saying goes, are you crazy until you're not? So we'll get into it. And first, I've been wanting to tell you about this upcoming event in which you can compete for $1 million. All you have to do is download and play My Vegas Slots for a
So no air conditioning in here, but you can feel the difference when you go underground.
What's your best weapon that you personally like shooting the most?
It would probably be this. This is the long-range sniper.
Oh, the sniper.
I mean, for close in, I'll still take a 12-gauge shotgun. If it's close in, I'd rather have a 12-gauge pump. The AR is a great weapon, but this thing makes a lot of power behind it. It's a lot harder to miss. So we've got, steel helmets for guards, the night vision equipment. So at night, if a deer is coming into our garden to eat, we obviously want to shoot that deer. We can't shoot with the rifle. That's going to scare our members, wake them up, and they're going to, we'll have an injury potentially rushing to defend ourselves. That's why we got crossbows, so we can shoot the deer with that. This is our radiation detector. These are very important. We have 2 of these at every location because you can't afford to be without a radiation detector. But the main thing we stockpile are rice, wheat berries. It's basically wheat that you grind up into flour, pinto beans, and rice. Again, it's all about calories. So if you step in here, more.
Wow.
A lot more food storage.
Well, there you go. There's toilet paper. That might be the currency of the future,
I want to make it absolutely clear. We do not promise a year of toilet paper.
I mean, if you saw COVID, that was a currency of...
Vitamins. That's another important thing to stockpile is vitamins. And then we have a variety of food. So there's some fun stuff. You got to have a lot of salt. There is a little bit of coffee. We don't rely on electricity. We've got wood stoves, so you can run this on a wood stove all the time.
Yeah, in the spiritual, a lot of these people that are doomsday prepping for the end of America or whatnot, all right, they're actually preparing, they're actually prepping for the elect, all right, because these people, they don't know the Lord. They're not going to have any protection from Yahweh Shem Yahushai when this thing's hit. So a lot of this stuff these goods that they're preparing is going to be for the elect, all right, because as scriptures say, we're going to have to be as pilgrims, all right. We're going to have to move around, flee from city to city. So a lot of these people that are storing up these goods, they're going to end up dying, and it's all going to be reserved for the Lord's elect, right? This is Psalm 37. That's why this is spiritual, all right? Psalms 37 and 19. This is Psalms 37 and 19. It says, they shall not be ashamed in the evil time, which we're going through here in this lesson. This is part of the evil time, the end of the world. They should not be ashamed in the evil time, which is the elect. And in the days of famine, they should be satisfied, right? Because they're going to have food and shelter and water. All right. They're going to have, as we read in the article, the elect are going to have their necessities that they need to survive, right? Verse 25, Psalm 37, verse 25, I have been young and now am old, yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging for bread. So again, the Lord is going to allow the remnant, the elect, to have what they need, is my point. Isaiah 65 and 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. All right. The Lord's servants, the elect, all right, they're going to eat, but ye should be hungry. All right. You 2/3, you non-believers and mockers and scoffers out there, you're going to die terrible deaths. But behold, my servants shall drink, but ye should be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye should be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. These people are going to be, you know, they're going to be in the worst case scenario, man. All right? They're not going to make it, is the point. You see? Let's play a little bit more.
I'm curious. I'm sure you've gotten called this many, many times. The conspiracy theorist. Does that affect you anymore? Or did it early?
No, that doesn't have anything to do with purpose. There are some people who, you know, think that, well, I'll give you one, that, you know, FEMA wants to do concentration camps. I've heard that rumor before.
What is that? Like FEMA?
FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Association. Some people say, oh, FEMA that wants to do concentration camps. And that's just nonsense. You know, we've got real threats to worry about. FEMA's not our enemy. They're not going to be able to help us. So remember Hurricane Katrina?
Yeah.
So Katrina, FEMA was in charge of the relief efforts there, and they did a pretty bad job. Do you realize that most U.S. states sent Guard troops to help in the Katrina recovery effort? It was just one little localized area. In a collapse, everyone's, and you know, when the grid goes down.
And this Edomite don't know what he's talking about, because them damn military troops they sent down there was killing Jake in the time of Katrina. You know, they got witnesses that were reporting about that, man, and they said that it was an actual bomb that blew up the what you call it, the levee, the levees or whatever, that allowed the floods to come in and whatnot. All right, there's a video that one of their brothers had posted on that. But the point is, like you said, there are FEMA camps, man. All right, so again, hey, a lot of these Edomites, they don't really know neither. I mean, they have an idea of what's going to come, but they don't really have the full spectrum as we do in the spirit. All right. We understand through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai that what the Lord is about to bring as far as judgment is never been seen. All right. This is going to be the most horrific time ever on the earth when these things hit. Right.
Across the U.S., everyone's in trouble. And the other thing is, nowadays there's so much more interest in marauding, whether it's due to Walking Dead or what the reason. There's just so much more interest in marauding. Another example is flash mobs. I should have mentioned that earlier. Those things happen more and more. Well, it happens all the time in California, the Home Depot thing.
Yeah.
Where these mobs go in.
Like the luxury stores too.
Yeah, Nordstrom's, whatever it was. Quite a few of them. There's so much more of that Americans are just getting more and more trained to maraud.
And so there seems to be many ways that society could collapse, from the electrical grid to the political divide. But before we went to the shooting range, he wanted to show me how people were going to live in this survival community.
So this is a luxury room here.
A toilet right next to the bedroom?
It's a private room. This is their private toilet, their private sink. So this is an older couple, but this is their stuff. So most of our members will do this. We have food that we stockpile, but, you know, they want more toilet paper, so they brought more toilet paper. They stockpile food, because a lot of our members are preppers before they join, so they've already got stuff.
Is there like a common profile of people that are like your clients? Like, do they tend to lean left, right, have certain interests?
They do tend to be libertarian. Libertarians understand that the government isn't going to be able to protect you in a collapse. Democrats tend to believe that the government will take care of you, and the Democratic Party wants people to believe that. They want a dependent population. They love welfare programs. They love social programs. Look at Bernie Sanders. He's a socialist. So if you believe the government's going to take care of you, why would you prepare?
So do you guys always have like guns?
Yeah, he's talking about you niggas, man. Right? In the lack of better words.
Guns placed strategically anywhere?
Again, every member has to have a weapon, and most people have a rifle and a pistol. Now, this is not normal. This is a really...
Yeah, so you can watch the rest. I mean, you get it. All right. Let me grab these last scriptures here before we wrap this up. All right, this is Job 5. All right, because what we're touching on again is these survival scriptures, right? On how the Lord is going to preserve his elect from the trouble, the famine, and the sword and death. This is Job chapter 5, verse 19. It says, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, and 7 there shall no evil touch thee. See? In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Verse 21, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shall thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. All right, because the Lord's elect remnant are going to have that hedge of protection. Verse 22, at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth, right? Because even the Lord is even going to have the animals be with the Lord's men, you know, with the elect in that time. You know, let me grab this too, right? So you get what's getting ready to come down the pipe. You see it. This is what these Edomites are preparing for. All right, this is Jeremiah 30:5. It says, for thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Washah, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness, showing you the severity of the times that are coming upon the earth. The point, verse 7, alas, for that day is great, so that none is for Solakia. Let me read it again. Excuse me. Jeremiah 30:7, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right, that he referring to the elect. All right, so bottom line, okay, the elect are going to survive these times to come. As I said, you know, your survival is ultimately determined by the mercy of Yahweh Shemel Washah. Shalom to the next one. Shalom.